Welcome in, everybody. Blitz the Books. Y'all ready for college football week 9, NFL week 8? I'm fired up. How about let's crack a lacking up in your neck of the woods, brother?
Man, everything's going pretty well. Pretty busy day. We've got a lot of games to get through. Pretty excited about the show today. Let's get right into it.
Can't wait, Wade. Can't wait. Let's do it. Let's feed the people, man. Keep this hot streak going. Both been doing pretty well here lately. Let's keep it rolling.
Yeah, we've got two college football games and we've got two NFL games to get through here. Our first game here we're going to talk about is number 11 BYU visits UCF. The current spread is -2.5 for UCF, a -130 money line, and an under 53.5. BYU is 7-0 with a 4-0 conference record, while UCF sits 3-4 with a 1-3 record. UCF sits with a strength of schedule of 35, which is better than BYU's 55, but BYU holds the advantage in both offensive and defensive efficiencies. Mike, what are you thinking about this one, man?
Man, this kind of fits into something I always like to play big weight. So here we have BYU. Some polls, I think they're even high as number 9. So we're having a
Yep.
really, really high ranked team, but they're an underdog, right? Against a UCF team that's been very disappointing at just 3-4 this season. So why in the world Central Florida favored? That's something I love to. That's an angle I've loved to play over the last 2 decades. Even anytime I get an unranked team that's favored over a ranked team, I'm automatically a buyer, man. Just automatically. And so yeah, that's the side I'm with. I'm going UCF here minus the 2 or minus 2.5, whatever you can get, fine, as long as it's under 3. Just something's not right with the line. BYU's had an awesome season so far, 7-0. A little bit of a paper tiger though. They have won some close matchups, but main reason I like the Knights here, Big Wade. You take a look at last week. Cougars played Oklahoma State, allowed 7.3 yards per carry, allowed 269 yards on the ground. My goodness, that was against the Pokes. How are they going to do against UCF? Even with the bad season, they're still one of the best rushing teams in the country. They're ranked 14th in yards per rush. Got a two-headed monster now with the quarterback change. Got R.J. Harvey in the backfield. Already ran for 890 yards and 11 touchdowns. This kid is amazing, averaging 6.7 yards per carry. I love that Gus Malzahn finally switched from KJ Jefferson. Just wasn't working out, man. The experiment, the old Arkansas guy, I think he's like a 10th year senior, it seems like, just wasn't getting it done. But since they've made the switch to Ja'Cory Brown, the offense has new life. Like this kid, he run all over their opponents last week. So now BYU has to defend both of those guys. So I just think it's going to be too much, man. Also, a rough travel spot. You and I are both big travel guys when we look at as far as our picks go. BYU coming all the way out from Provo, Utah, all the way down to UCF, all the way to Florida. That is kind of rough. I think Utah is on Pacific time, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe Mountain time. Not sure, but either way,
Yeah,
skipping
Mountain.
over time zones pretty rough on the body clock. So yeah, I laid it, man, with the Golden Knights. Any thoughts from you, my man? Here,
Yeah, I'm kind of having the similar thoughts as you. I know the line movement was pretty jarring to me. It definitely was telling that sharps are all over UCF in this game. Everybody's probably buying the fact that BYU is going to come down to earth at some point. I just don't think they can stay undefeated forever. And really, I'm basing my play off of last week's both games. BYU allowed Gordon and Oklahoma State to run all over them. Meanwhile, you got Brown and Harvey coming in now. They ran all over Iowa State, and Iowa State was very good at, if I believe correctly, stopping the run and not against the pass. And they ran the ball down their throats, and I think that's going to happen again here. Very big on Harvey. I've been big on him all year. His rushing yards line set to 120, 130, something like that. So I definitely believe he's going to be rushing the ball with success. I think they're going to be able to move the ball with success. I think this is going to be a high scoring game on both sides. I think both teams are going to be able to score points. And I actually took UCF over 27.5 points. Grabbed that for
nice.
-125. I'm just worried that they've made too many mistakes, and then with Brown coming in, they could make some more mistakes that could fault them when winning the game. But I do think they're going to be able to find points, so I do lean your way on taking them to win the game, cover the spread. Um, but I just think this takes a little bit more of that risk because BYU has been good. Their quarterback's been very good.
Yeah,
Their
yeah,
defense, their
red
defense has been very good at times, and I think they could possibly make some plays on UCF if UCF likes to turn the ball over here. So I'm just gonna take the sides out of this thing and go with team total.
got you, got you. I don't blame you, man. That does. I can definitely see why you think that's the safer choice. They're going the team total. Definitely don't hate that. For me, reason I settled on UCF, I hate to single on one metric, but I'm a big third down conversions guy. You look at UCF, third down conversions, 32nd in the country, converting 44% of the time.
Yeah.
BYU just ranked 121st in the country in third down offense. That's a big difference there, man. So yeah, that's a one in our favor if you're going to back the Golden Knights in any way, shape, or forms. Being able to keep drives going is just huge in football. So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
with you,
I
man.
I agree
I'll
with that.
sprinkle that team total with you a little bit there. I like that
Yeah.
play.
I like that. Well, let's get it. Well, let's jump into the next game here. We've got number 8 LSU visiting number 14 Texas A&M. Man, I'm actually
Yeah,
surprised that game day is going coming down to Indiana here. I know they've got a good matchup against Washington, but holy smokes, this should be game day game. This is going to be a very good matchup. Texas A&M's found their stride after losing their opener to Notre Dame. LSU 6-1, 3-0, very strong in the SEC conference. Texas A&M 6-1 as well, 4-0 in the conference. Um, LSU has a strength of schedule of 17 compared to Texas A&M's 27. LSU has the offensive efficiency rating over Texas A&M, but then Texas A&M has a better defensive efficiency rating over LSU. So this is going to be a game of if his offense going to be successful here versus LSU versus Texas A&M's defense. Right now, the books kind of agree with that here. The spread right now is Texas A&M -1 with a money line of -115 and a total of 54.5. So, Mike, this is basically a pick 'em game. What do you like about this?
yeah. This is a tough one here, Wade. Honestly, I went back and forth on this one, but really, I settled on A&M laying the small number just for a few reasons. One, I love playing on a team with a crazy home field advantage. Kyle Field is always rocking. The 12th man is a real deal. It is hard to get into College Station and come out with a win. So that's right. I know I hate to keep it, short and simple on that, but like for as far as home field advantage is
No, no.
concerned, a lot of teams only get maybe 1, 2 points for home field edge. I give the Aggies 4 points for home field advantage just because of that crazy stadium. It's going to be at night too. To that point, this is LSU's first road test of the season. They've had a great year. They really have, but they have not been tested on the road. Their toughest road game so far has Arkansas and at South Carolina. Not really any big time, challenge there from either of those teams. Don't know how they're going to handle the hostile environment. Yeah, I do think LSU has a more talented roster, but just for home field advantage and the fact that I love getting the better defense. LSU offense very good, but their secondary's been kind of weak, man. Ranked just 96 in yards per pass allowed. So that's just something there, a little nugget. Was hoping this would come out with the Aggies as a slight home dog.
Sure,
So
sure.
that was a better number. I don't think there's actually necessarily any value in this number. It's just more the spot for me with it being LSU's first big road test. I don't think they're going to pass it. I think the Aggies get the W here by 3 or more. But tough one to call, man. I think we're on opposite sides on this one, which kills me. But is that
We are,
correct?
we are. Makes good for the show. I actually pulled up as you were talking about that. I pulled up my college football model. At
There you
Texas
go.
A&M with a 2.86 home field advantage. So I think the average home field advantage is 3.18. So they actually sit a little bit under the average, and I don't think they have as big of a home field advantage as you think. I think the media builds that up. I think they play it up. Obviously, the crowd's big, but you know what? One thing that people don't talk about a lot is LSU's used to this. LSU probably plays in one of the best environments of college football, maybe one of the better home field advantages. Um, their players are used to that. Obviously, going on the road and traveling is a little bit different, but this isn't like I don't know, Mississippi State traveling. to Texas A&M here. You've got LSU, who's used to playing in hostile environments pretty much everywhere they go and at home. So I don't necessarily look at that as a huge underlier in this game. It does matter. I've just not been a big believer in Wiggum and Texas A&M's quarterback. I don't like the way he plays. I don't believe in what he can do. I'm not sure that they're going to be able to run the ball in LSU's defense with Moss. So I just think that's going to make Texas A&M a little bit one-dimensional. Um, Look, I just don't think he's going to be able to move the ball and throw the ball in LSU's defense. So I just think they're going to be able to slow the run. I think LSU's going to be able to find some offensive success. I think they're going to be able to pass. I definitely don't think they're going to be able to run the ball very well, but I think they will be able to find success in the passing game a little bit. I don't like to back Brian Kelly very often, but I did hear that Kelly is 41 and 24 against the spread as an underdog. So I'm gonna lean
Pretty
that
strong.
way. I took LSU
Pretty strong.
plus 3, so I'm not sitting here saying I believe LSU is gonna win the game. I do believe the books are right. This is gonna be a close one. I don't see a blowout either way. Um, yeah, I just think LSU is gonna be able to keep this thing close, man. Plus 3, the bet is.
Cool. There you go. I love the
Yeah.
number you got. I love the number you got. So there you go. I mean,
Yeah,
you're
nothing
getting the
too
full
exciting, man.
total.
It's just minus 115, plus 3. I think they'll be able to keep it close. Offenses are both tough. Defenses are both tough. Um,
These
yeah.
uh these SEC showdowns are tough to call, man. We saw it earlier in the year with Georgia, Bama. Could have gone either way, even with Bama getting the big lead, and Georgia comes all the way back, almost steals that one. Saw it
Yeah,
last
for
week, Bama,
sure.
Tennessee kind of went, when we're in the thick of conference season, a lot of these games are coin flips. That's why we always stress people. Wade and I both are big proponents on stressing money management. Just because you feel really good about a game doesn't mean you should load up on it, especially this time of year. The books are dialed in. They've got lots of data points to feed their supercomputers. So yeah, we just stress whatever your normal unit size is, keep
Yeah, and
betting that.
I'm not saying this is my favorite bet of the week by any means. When we discussed the show earlier in the week, you had mentioned this Texas A&M play you were, so I just figured it was good for the show. I'm liking
Cool.
LSU. I'm already on it anyway, so I'll throw that in there.
Love it.
Definitely not my best bet of the week. I'll say that. Um, Texas A&M's dangerous, but we have seen them in a couple of other bad spots where they've lost. So they're just
Very true.
questionable. I trust their. This is a very good coaching matchup. Um,
Yeah,
Very
it
close
is.
game.
It
So,
is.
but let's move
Should
into
be a
the
good one.
NFL. There's not everybody watches college football. A lot of people just like the NFL, and that's why we like to bring a couple NFL looks here as well. We're
Yes,
going to jump
sir.
right over to the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Houston Texans this week. The Houston Texans are a minus 5.5 spread. They are a money line of minus 225, and they are total is 45.5. Now the Texans come in 5-2. Colts are 4-3. These teams are very closely matched. The Colts have a strength of schedule of 13 compared to Texans 14. Colts offensive efficiency is ranked number 19, while the Texans are 18. And the Colts defensive efficiency is number 14, while Texans are a little bit better at number 9. So, very close matchup, good rivalry matchup. What do you think, Mike? What are you liking here? This is always a very good, very wild matchup to watch. They usually end in close to a field goal. So, I'm interested to see what you got here.
Yeah, yeah, great points, Wade. Appreciate the intro there, man. I played the Texans here. I laid the 5. Actually, I laid 5.5. I think you can find
Okay.
5 right now.
Okay.
This on the look ahead was Houston minus 6.5. So which might have been a tad too high, but I think everybody's kind of overreacting just to one bad performance
Hmm.
by Houston. They did look pretty rough against Green Bay. Even as bad as they played, though, they still only lost by 2. So I don't see the downgrade in them. Yeah, no Stroud. He only threw for 86 yards. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's his worst effort as a professional QB. Just don't see him playing 2 bad games in a row, especially at home. Houston struggled on the highway at times this season, but my goodness, they're a perfect 3-0 at home. So yeah, just like the home spot. I think it's a good bounce back spot for the Texans. The Colts, I've been impressed with them lately. They've
Yeah.
won 4 out of their last 5 in a good groove. But there again, I like to bet like an investor. I think it's a good time to sell them at a relative high. I do like that they're getting Jonathan Taylor back, but man, I'm just not sold on Anthony Richardson, man. I just don't see it. I mean, I like him as a runner, but my goodness, he's constantly hurt. And he looked really rusty last week against the Dolphins, just 10 of 24 for 124 passing yards. Just didn't really look that good. But main reason for the play for me, I'm really not sold at all on Indy's defense. Their defense has got some rough metrics, man. They ranked just 25th in the NFL in third down defense and red zone defense. Really think that even with Houston not having Nico Collins does hurt them, but you still got a ton of weapons, man. You got Tank Dell running around out there, you got Stephon Diggs, and then Joe Mixon really played well against Green Bay. They give him the ball 25 times. Should be able to run the ball in Indy. Indy ranks just 21st in yards per rush allowed. Also love Houston's defense. Secondary's been very good all year long. Also doing a good job of putting pressure on the QB. Will Anderson Jr., my old Bama buddy, he already has 6.5 sacks. So yeah, I think it's a good buy low spot on Houston just after a rough performance. But at Lambeau Field, tough place to play. I'll forgive them for that clunker. I'm going to go Houston here. Again, don't really like laying this many in a divisional game, but I think the number should be close to 7. So that's what I'm rolling with, man.
I like all those points. I like the bounce back spots. I like the fact that Anthony Richardson is very turnover prone. He has 3 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. I think it might be a wise bet, and I'm going to actually look into that myself and see what those odds are. I think he has a good chance of throwing an interception in this game.
Ooh, yeah, nice one,
Division
nice
game, I
prop.
think they're gonna try to run the ball, obviously, and establish the run, especially if Taylor is back. I know it's still questionable if he's gonna play, but I do think he's gonna play. So I do think they go that route. But I think in a division game, Richardson's maybe gonna press a little bit, especially if they get down and Stroud and them are moving the ball pretty well, and I think he's gonna force a turnover. So I might look into that.
I like it. I like
I'm
it.
gonna
You
get
can
I'll give
get
a play.
minus 145. Yeah, minus 145 for Richardson throw a pick
Yeah,
over at
if it was like minus 110, 115 plus money maybe, but yeah, I figured that might be a little juiced. I was gonna say maybe minus 130, 135 on that, but the books
yes,
also
sir.
think he has a high probability of hitting that, but I will give you guys a bonus play for that game. I am gonna take Jonathan Taylor to score a touchdown. That was minus 105 last night. I don't know if that's still available. I don't know if any news has come out recently that he's actually gonna play or not. I think if they do realize or they do release that he's gonna for sure start, I think that line's gonna move up to more minus 120s.
Yeah, he is no longer on the injury report as of today.
I'm very
He's like,
surprised if this line doesn't move up. He's scored 5 straight games against the Texans, and in those 5 games, he has a total of 7 touchdowns. So they like to feed him against the Texans. I just think it's a don't overlook this because you don't get Jonathan Taylor a lot at these odds once he's back and
very
fully
true.
healthy. So
Good point.
play it. I like it. Yeah, I like that move, man. I'm gonna go to the Arizona Cardinals Miami
Hey,
Dolphins matchup.
woo, I
We've
love it.
got
Let's go.
news coming out that Tua Tagovailoa is coming back, man. So that's very
Finally,
exciting for the
finally.
Dolphins. Not
That
so much
is.
for maybe his health, but I guess we'll see. But right now, the books have the Dolphins at a minus. The books have moved this line. It was -3 earlier in the week. It's now -4.5. Money line -196 favoring the Dolphins with a total of 46.5. Surprising records here with the Dolphins sitting at 2-4. Cardinals are 3-4. Cardinals now have the number one strength of schedule in the NFL. Meanwhile, the Dolphins sit at 29th. The Cardinals have the 13th ranked offensive efficiency, while meanwhile the Dolphins have number 31 on offense. Remember that stat. And the Dolphins' defensive efficiency stat is number 8th, where the Cardinals is number 28. So,
There you
Mike, I
go.
kind of see this going one way. Yeah, I think this is a good bounce back spot for the Dolphins. They've been reeling lately. They put up 10 points against
Go.
the Colts last week. Now they come back home in a get right spot with Tua coming back. I know there was an interview with Tyreek Hill. He said the news almost made him cry. So I have a feeling Tyreek's going to have a good game. Waddle's going to have a good game. That running game is starting to get healthy again. The Cardinals also coming off a surprising dog victory over the Chargers. Um,
Yep.
so I think this is also coming across the country there a little bit. I think it's a down
Oh,
spot for
love
them. And then, as I said it before, Dolphins are ranked 32nd in offensive efficiency. Now that they've got everybody back, there's no way that number is going to stay that, especially against this Cardinals defense that really has not looked very good. I know we've talked about this on a previous show, mentioned
they're
that
terrible.
they were expected to not be very good. Well, when you look at their defensive categories, they're basically green and everything, basically putting him in them in the bottom of the league. 26th in passing yards allowed, 31st in completion percentage, sitting at 71, which that's to a specialty is completing passes. 28th in pass yard per completion.
Yeah,
Um, 22nd in pass TDs per game. They're also very terrible against the rush, allowing 139 rushing yards per game, 31 per rushing attempts per game. Also, which both are in the bottom of the league. I just don't see how this Dolphins offense can't find a way to get right against this very terrible Arizona defense. Even though they did look good against the I'll give it to them. They did look pretty good against the Chargers, but then again, the Chargers offense doesn't have all the firepower that the Dolphins could potentially have. I'm worried a little bit about the Dolphins' offensive line. I think they need to shore that up. Um, just can't have Tua taking licks. But I ended up taking the Dolphins -4. I got it for -110 on ESPN. You may still be able to get that line. Um, I just think this is a good spot. You got the Dolphins ranked top 10 defensive efficiency, so I think they could cause Cardinals some problems if I saw correctly. One of the stat makers that I like to look at, they're projecting Kyler Murray to be around 170 passing yards this game. And if that's all he has, I'm not sure what they're going to be able to do with the ball. The Dolphins can make them a one-dimensional team and really put a lot of um, focus on stopping James Conner. So I like the Dolphins here. When the Cardinals have lost this year, it's been more than 4 points every time. So I think this is a good spot.
yeah, I agree on all counts. I was fortunate enough to get this early Wednesday morning at -3 on Miami. Just heard the rumblings that Tua would be back, and just didn't think they had priced that number correctly with Tua in there. Yeah, rust factor I do worry a little bit about, but my goodness, even
Sure,
rusty Tua is going to be
sure,
better than what Skylar
sure,
Thompson and
sure.
Tyler Huntley have put out there, man. And you hit the nail on the head. All good points. Arizona defense is terrible. I hate talking bad about them because they cashed a nice ticket for
Yeah,
us on
I
Monday Night
know, I
Football,
know.
but they're still ranked dead last. You nailed it, dead last in yards per pass allowed, and dead last in third down conversion rate allowed. So you put up a good point there as far as Miami's O line. Only thing is, with Tua back, he throws the quick slant so much that I'm hoping that'll keep the pressure off of him. Hopefully, McDaniel will call more quick passes. Did love the that you mentioned Tyreek Hill. I think he said something in his press conference to, yeah, make sure you put me on your fantasy team now that Tua's back. So I thought that was pretty funny. That's a good little nugget there. But
Yeah, no.
yeah,
If anybody cares, or if anybody likes props, I went ahead and I also put Tyreek Hill in to score a touchdown. I believe that was +110 on DraftKings, and then I'm trying to figure out make sure it's the right book. Yeah,
there you go.
DraftKings,
I'll
and
put
then on FanDuel, I also ran a two-leg -101 odds of Waddle to get 40 receiving yards and Hill to get 60 receiving yards, and that's not that much to ask for almost
how
plus
much I
money.
like
So
the Dolphins right here, baby. I got the shirt. Boom. There you go.
that's fire. That's you should have wore that for the freaking
I'm
show,
telling you,
baby.
well, I
Man.
got the color right, but I forgot I had the shirt. Yeah, as soon as Tua was drafted, there, the sweet wife, my much better half, got me the
I
Dolphin
like
shirt there.
that, man.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, you are Alabama boy here, so you are
yeah,
you
yeah. Got
might
to be a
like
Tua
this
fan.
Jalen Waddle play here, so
Yeah, there you go.
I like it.
There you go.
So you got anything else for the show, man? I appreciate everybody listening. Hope you guys have I guess good luck with all your bets. If you guys tail us, hope we cash these for you. Hope we helped you
Good.
guys with your leans if you had any this week, and let's have a good weekend.
Yeah, let's stay hot. Good talking to you, buddy. Boom.
Appreciate you guys. See ya.